Buckle up, because this one's not just drama. It's a franchise-altering thunderstorm. Just when the Cleveland Browns thought things couldn't get worse, they've now found themselves in the eye of a quarterback hurricane, and it's wearing number 5. Rookie sensation Shedeur Sanders has reportedly had it. Done. Over it. And if the reports are true, he's already quietly plotting his exit from the team that drafted him. Let that sink in. We're not talking about an unhappy vet or some backup QB pouting over reps. This is your future, your face of the franchise in waiting. If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed. Publicly humiliated and privately exploring a trade. And the worst part? The Browns did this to themselves. It all started, predictably, in Cleveland's quarterback clown car, sorry room. The one that already included Joe Flacco, the comeback grandpa, Dylan Gabriel, a developmental experiment, and of course, Deshaun Watson's ghost looming like a $230 million elephant in the facility. But in walks Shedeur Sanders, a rookie with pro-ready swagger, laser-sharp decision-making, and a football IQ that should have made him untouchable in camp. Reports from insiders said it all. He was outplaying the room, out-preparing, outperforming, outsmarting. He was winning the huddle, winning teammates, and winning fans who had barely even seen him in action. So what does Kevin Stefanski do? Sits him, sidelines him, ignores him. We're talking about a player who lit up training camp, showed command in the pocket, and ran offensive sets like a seasoned vet. But when it came time for red zone drills, crunch time reps, 2-minute situations, not a whisper. Instead, Joe Flacco and Dylan Gabriel. Yes, Dylan Gabriel got first dibs. And for Shedeur, that was the last straw. Sources say he didn't just get frustrated. He felt sabotaged. That's the word floating around now. Deliberate professional sabotage. And look, it's one thing to be part of a crowded QB room. It's another to be the clear breakout talent and get treated like an afterthought. We're talking about a system that drafted this kid, hyped him up publicly, then quietly shoved him behind outdated schemes and shallow favoritism. And when he asked for a real chance, when he demanded meaningful reps, he was told to wait his turn. His turn? For what exactly? To run third-string packages behind quarterbacks who don't even fit the Browns' long-term vision? To wait for a franchise that's been rotating QBs like they're auditioning for America's Got Talent? Backup edition? Nah, Shedeur's not having it. And can you blame him? This is a player raised in high-stakes football, groomed under the spotlight, hardened by scrutiny, mentored by one of the most iconic names in football history. He came into the league expecting to compete, and instead walked into an organization that talked about development while playing favorites like it's a high school popularity contest. So now, he's doing what any smart, self-aware rookie with options would do. He's looking for the exit. And guess who's waiting with open arms? The New York Giants. Oh, yeah, because while Cleveland was too busy spinning its wheels and protecting egos, New York saw the writing on the wall. Word is, the Giants are already in contact with Sanders' camp. Not just flirting, seriously pursuing. And why wouldn't they be? Think about it. The Giants' quarterback room is in flux. Daniel Jones? Unconvincing. Tyrod Taylor? Veteran Band-Aid. What they need is a QB who can command a system, light up a locker room, and build a brand. Sound familiar? Shedeur Sanders is that guy, and the Giants know it. They're reportedly willing to give up multiple first-round picks and veteran starters to get him. Because in today's NFL, if you think you found your franchise quarterback, you don't wait. You don't hesitate. You move. And the Giants, unlike Cleveland, seem ready to take that leap. Meanwhile, back in Ohio, chaos. The Browns front office is in full-blown damage control. Emergency meetings. Closed-door player sit-downs. PR teams scrambling to soften the optics. They're desperately trying to convince Shedeur that the plan just hasn't been fully revealed yet, that it's all strategic, that his moment is coming. But here's the thing. Trust is gone. You don't bench a quarterback who's outperforming expectations and then try to gaslight him into believing it's developmental. Not when he's hearing from teammates, from coaches behind closed doors, even from the media, that he's the best quarterback on the roster. That's not development. That's politics. And Shedeur's not about that life. He didn't come to the NFL to babysit a broken franchise. He didn't sign up to be the footnote in someone else's ego trip. He came to win. And if the Browns aren't going to let him do that, he'll do it somewhere else. And the fans? Oh, they're already picking sides. Social media is erupting. Hashtag Free Shedeur is trending. TikToks, tweets, fan videos. People are calling for his release, for a trade, for accountability. And for once, Browns fans aren't divided. They've seen this movie before. Quarterback mismanagement is the one Cleveland tradition that never dies. And here we are again, a generational talent about to walk out the door because the team can't get out its own way. Let's talk about what this means long term. If the Browns lose Shedeur, if they let yet another promising quarterback slip through their fingers because of mismanagement and favoritism, it's not just a mistake. It's a franchise-defining failure. This kid isn't just a talented rookie. He's a symbol of the future. Young, smart, adaptable, marketable, respected by his peers. Losing him now? That's not a setback. That's a rebuild reset. And if he goes to New York, if he lights up the NFC East, if he torches the Browns in a revenge game next season on primetime television, yeah, go ahead and add that to Cleveland's long, painful highlight reel of what could have been. But you know what the wildest part is? This was preventable. All Stefanski had to do was be fair. All the organization had to do was give Shedeur the same opportunities as the other QBs. Let him run the 2-minute offense. Let him compete in red zone drills. Let him build chemistry with the first team. Instead, they benched him. They ignored him. They disrespected him. And now they're shocked he wants out? Please, this isn't a diva move. This isn't a rookie tantrum. This is a football player realizing he's in a toxic environment and choosing to protect his future before it's too late. And honestly, good for him. Too many talented players get stuck in broken systems, forced to waste their early years waiting their turn, while lesser players with more political support take the spotlight. Shedeur's not waiting. He knows his worth. And if Cleveland doesn't, he'll go to a city that does. So the question now is simple. Will the Browns finally wake up? Or will they let another star slip away while they cling to broken systems and bad habits? Time's ticking. And every day they stall, every snap they give to someone else, every empty press conference quote they trot out, it just brings Shedeur one step closer to New York. So what do you think? Should the Browns trade Sanders or fight to keep him? Can this relationship be salvaged, or is it already too late? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe for the next quarterback soap opera and stay tuned. Because if Shedeur Sanders walks out Cleveland, it won't just be a trade. It'll be an exodus. And the Browns? They'll have no one to blame but themselves. Oh, we're so not done here. Because this saga, the slow-motion implosion of Browns' quarterbacking dreams, isn't just about one player wanting out. It's about the collapse of trust, the rot at the core of a franchise that keeps promising they've changed, but always find a way to self-sabotage. Let's go deeper into the storm. Behind the scenes, Browns insiders are describing a locker room split. You got young players rallying around Shedeur Sanders, guys who've seen him put in the work, lead without ego, ball out in drills that actually matter. These are teammates who know talent when they see it. They've watched him read defenses like he's been here 5 years, watched him command respect without needing the spotlight, watched him say all the right things until the Browns stopped listening. Then you got the other camp, coaches, staffers, a few veterans, who are terrified of rocking the boat. They're clinging to the old guard, to Joe Flacco's steadiness, to Dylan Gabriel's upside, and most of all, to Kevin Stefanski's vision, which increasingly looks less like a plan and more like a stubborn refusal to admit when the obvious answer is staring you in the face. Shedeur has been that answer. From day one, his mechanics were crisp. His timing? Impressive. His poise? Off the charts. He made the Browns' offense look functional, even explosive, a rare feat behind an O-line that's been duct-taped together since week 2. So what happened? Favoritism happened. Not the subtle, hard-to-prove kind. The obvious kind. The kind where a rookie can throw darts all week in practice, get 0 mistakes on the clipboard, and still not see a single first-team rep in game prep. The kind where his feedback in meetings is brushed aside, where he's left off leadership council invites, where he watches less talented quarterbacks stumble their way through drills that he's been mastering in silence. And you know what's worse than being benched? Being deliberately invisible. That's what sources close to Sanders are saying. That this wasn't just mishandling. It was sidelining with intent. A quiet campaign to keep the rookie out of the conversation, out of the headlines, and, most of all, out of the coach's long-term plans. Think about that. Your rookie quarterback, the one outperforming expectations, the one energizing fans, the one becoming a symbol of potential. And your plan is to bury him? That's not just bad strategy. That's organizational malpractice. And Shedeur, he saw it for what it was. Clear as day. You don't grow up around the game at the level he did and not recognize when you're being played. And here's where it gets nuclear. He's not staying quiet anymore. He's vented to teammates. He's made comments in closed-door meetings. His camp has started carefully leaking to national outlets, testing the waters, shaping the narrative. But make no mistake, this isn't rumor mill. It's a message. You don't value me? Someone else will. And that someone might just be wearing blue. Let's shift to the Giants for a moment, because New York is sitting at the edge of its seat like a villain in a drama who didn't even have to lift a finger. The Browns are doing all the dirty work themselves. The Giants see an opportunity to pull off what could be one of the most audacious QB coups in modern NFL history. This isn't just about plugging a hole in their depth chart. It's about injecting life into a fan base that's been dragging itself through the mud of quarterback mediocrity since Eli Manning hung it up. It's about hope, energy, future. And Shedeur, he fits. New York is tailor-made for his skill set. West Coast-style RPOs, quick throws, mobility-based pocket escapes. And let's be honest, you stick that kid behind a slightly better O-line with Brian Dable calling the shots? Yeah, defenses are going to feel that. So here's what we're hearing. The Giants are prepared to send picks, players, whatever it takes. Not just one first-rounder. Multiple. Why? Because this isn't about potential anymore. It's about proof. They've seen enough tape. They've made enough calls. They believe. And the Browns? They're boxed in. If they don't trade Shedeur and somehow keep him chained to bench all season, the PR fallout alone will torch the locker room. If they do trade him, every sports outlet in America will slap together a Cleveland Screws Itself Again segment by Monday morning. It's a lose-lose situation, and the Browns build it brick by brick. Meanwhile, Shedeur's camp is tightening the screws. Word is, he's already told close contacts he'd rather sit out than be set up to fail. That if the Browns try to force him into a toxic situation, limited reps, zero game control, scripted disaster, he'll opt out. Period. You want to talk leverage? That's it. The Browns can't threaten him. They can't strong-arm him. He holds the cards, and he's ready to play them. And don't forget the media machine. Social media has turned this into a full-blown campaign. You've got TikToks with millions of views, threads full of film breakdowns showing Sanders executing better than the current starters, fan signs at practice, chants at preseason games. Start Shedeur has become more than a demand, it's a movement. And every second the Browns resist it, they lose more of their base. Worse, they lose credibility. Not just with fans, but with players. Free agents are watching. Other rookies are watching. Veterans are texting each other about how Cleveland treats its talent. And if you think that kind of reputation doesn't matter, ask the Jets. Ask the Bears. Ask any team that spent a decade trying to crawl out of dysfunction once it becomes their identity. This isn't just a quarterback controversy. It's a credibility crisis. And if Sanders ends up on another roster, especially one in the NFC East, where the lights shine bright and every revenge game becomes a primetime event, Cleveland better pray he doesn't light them up on national television, because that's what this story will become. The one that got away. The rookie you didn't believe in. The quarterback who made your franchise look foolish. Again. And look, some will say Sanders is being impatient, that he should wait his turn, that the NFL is a business. But let me ask you this. What's the line between being patient and being played? Because when you're outperforming everyone in the room and you're still being told to wait, You're not being developed. You're being dismissed. And Shedeur Sanders? He's not here to be dismissed. He's here to change the game. So now, the Browns are staring down the barrel of a decision that could define their next 5 years. Do they swallow their pride and trade him? Or do they keep trying to control a player who's already taken the narrative into his own hands? Clock's ticking, Cleveland. And this time, it's not just a quarterback controversy. It's your legacy on the line. Let's not sugarcoat it anymore. This is the kind of chaos that reshapes legacies and rewrites history books. Not in the triumphant, finally turn a corner kind of way, but in the gut punch, this is where it all started falling apart kind of way. And at the very center of this storm is Shedeur Sanders, an NFL rookie who walked into a mess, cleaned up everything he could, and still got pushed aside. And now, he's walking out the door with his head high, the league watching, and the entire Browns front office scrambling to rewrite the narrative they created in the first place. Let's be honest here. This is Cleveland's Titanic moment, and Jimmy Haslam's the one yelling, "Everything's fine" from the bow of the ship, while the band plays its final notes. The fact that we're even here, discussing potential trade of the only quarterback on the roster with youth, poise, accuracy, and the brains to lead an NFL offense, tells you just how backwards things have gotten. The Browns didn't just mishandle a rookie. They didn't just misread a situation. They committed the most unforgivable sin in professional sports. They underestimated a player who was smarter than the system. Shedeur Sanders saw through it all. He saw the organizational dysfunction, the coaching games, the shallow promises. He realized very quickly that talent means nothing when egos are involved. And Kevin Stefanski? Let's talk about him. Because the blame doesn't stop at ownership. It trickles down to a coaching staff that had every tool to build a modern NFL offense, including the one player perfectly built to run it, and instead decided to play safe, to coddle aging vets, to run predictable plays, to whisper next year while actively holding back the guy who could have changed this year. And for what? For job security? For optics? For some outdated idea of rookies must wait their turn? That kind of thinking is a luxury losing franchises can't afford. Not anymore. Not when your fan base has seen more quarterbacks in 10 years than some teams have had in their entire existence. Not when you finally stumbled across a guy who gets it, and you treat him like a fourth-string camp arm. It's laughable. Except it's not funny to the players in the locker room who believed in Shedeur. It's not funny to the fans who shelled out cash for preseason tickets just to see him take 6 meaningless snaps in a blowout. It's not funny to Shedeur's camp, who has made it crystal clear. He's not going to waste his career waiting on a coach's pride to dissolve. And here's where the drama hits Mach 10. The Giants aren't the only team circling. Oh, yeah. Did you think this was a one-team bidding war? Think again. Since news broke that Sanders was looking for the exit, at least 4 more teams have reportedly checked in. NFC teams, AFC teams, quarterback-needy franchises, competitive rosters looking for the final piece. Even a certain silver and black team out west is rumored to be watching closely. Because let's be real, what coach would want a mobile, high IQ quarterback with elite decision-making and nothing but upside? Shedeur's stock is rising by the hour. And the Browns? They're on the phone with PR firms trying to figure out how to spin this when the trade eventually goes through. They can try to downplay it. They can float locker room issues. They can even push the tired, he wasn't ready excuse. But it won't work. Because Shedeur hasn't said a word publicly. But he doesn't have to. The tape speaks. The locker room speaks. The fans, the analysts, the players, they're already calling this what it is. A complete and utter failure of leadership. And we haven't even talked about what this means if Shedeur ends up torching the Browns in a future matchup. Can you imagine the headlines? The one that got away. Sanders shreds former team for 350 yards and 4 TDs in revenge game bloodbath. Cleveland crumbles again. Browns outplayed by the QB they didn't believe in. Shedeur Sanders makes Browns regret everything. You don't think that game's getting flexed into prime time? You don't think social media is going to eat that alive? It'll be biblical. And look, let's not pretend Shedeur is perfect. He's still young, still learning, still adjusting to NFL speed. There will be growing pains. But here's the difference. He wants to grow. He's ready to work, to lead, to elevate. What he's not ready to do is sit behind washed-up quarterbacks and smile for cameras while his own career stagnates because someone in a suit doesn't like that he has a personality. And, oh, the personality thing. Let's touch on that too. Because while no one will say it directly, you know it's a factor. The jewelry, the social media following, the Deion Sanders connection, the fact that Shedeur is brand power. Some execs don't like that. Some coaches don't know how to handle it. They still believe quarterbacks should be bland, uncontroversial, silent soldiers who take orders and keep their heads down. But that era? Dead. You want winners in today's NFL? Look around. Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert. They've got personality, swagger, confidence. And guess what? So does Shedeur Sanders. You just chose not to embrace it. So now, someone else will. And what happens after that? It's a domino effect. You lose Shedeur. The locker room fractures. Fan trust dips. Coaching staff loses credibility. Front office hits panic mode. And suddenly, you're back at square one, again, drafting another quarterback, selling another vision, pitching another new era, hoping it sticks this time. Meanwhile, Shedeur's lighting it up in a different jersey. The fans who bought his Browns merch, they're burning it on TikTok. Your future is now your greatest what if. This isn't just a trade waiting to happen. It's a franchise failure in the making. And all because you couldn't recognize the gift you were handed. So here's what's coming, and let's make it real clear. If the Browns don't make peace with Shedeur's camp, if they don't immediately offer him the respect, reps, and clear path forward he deserves, he's gone. Not maybe, not later. Gone. And when he's on another team, slinging 40-yard lasers, smiling in post-game interviews, inspiring a new generation of fans, people won't say, "How did Cleveland let this happen?" They'll say, "Of course Cleveland let this happen." Because history always repeats itself. And in Cleveland, it repeats louder than anywhere else.